Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched, Bots, and Share Shots. I am your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, él está un cinco de la familia Camacho. He is Texas All-Star Wrestling star Zarek Camacho. Zarek, thanks for coming on and talking about some wrestling with me, brother. How are you?
Again, I'm doing great, bro. Thank you for the opportunity. Been looking forward to be on the podcast and everything. Y gracias, en verdad, por la oportunidad y la plataforma.
Sí, muchas gracias. Yo hablo español, pero muy poquito. Yo trabajo en
Oh,
las cocinas para 20 años.
oh, las cocinas.
Sí.
No, bro. When I learned English was kind of same because in Puerto Rico, they teach you, right? But then you're like it's 15 minutes and then you're speaking Spanish. So it's like once I moved, that's when I started getting the English.
I took it in school, went with college, and then when I became a chef, it seemed like 90% of the kitchens I went into, it was a very lowest common denominator situations with the language. So I find myself kind of learning it organically through the years
Yeah.
of being in the kitchen. So it was really good. So let's kind of talk about your origin story here. Everybody has one. I usually liken it to the Marvel superheroes and everything, but
Yes.
nobody's born a pro wrestler, even when you're born into a
Nope.
family of them. What was that like for you coming into it? Your origin stories, the deciding
Um,
factors of being a pro wrestler.
So basically, start watching wrestling with my grandma. I think most of us, our grandma is a high influence on wrestling. I got influenced a lot by IWA, that was Sabio Vega Company in Puerto Rico. World Wrestling Council, that's Carlos Colon company right now, and Victor Jovica. And we watched WWE, but I didn't have cable at that time. So I got like the recaps, right? I got recaps from the Attitude Era at some point, and it was fun, bro. I really enjoyed it because my grandma was really into it from the TV, and me as a kid, I'll follow, right? And it was like always being a fan, I like it. And but I told my parents I want to do wrestling, right? And they're nah, your uncle's tried because my uncle tried to be a wrestler in Puerto Rico. I told us, oh, so I'm a second generation technically if I do it, and they like, yeah. Um, Going back to 2002 on IWA, there was a big match of Ricky Banderas, who is Mil Muerta on Lucha Underground, and Ray Gonzalez, who is a big star. He just got a match with Dot Ziggler on the World Wrestling Council the other days. It was really good to watch Dot Ziggler in Puerto Rico. You gotta watch that match if you got a moment. So it's funny because that day there was a tropical storm on the island, right? And the event was on an open baseball park. And my mom went like, "No, you're not going." So me being a teenager, escaped and went to see the match anyway with the storm. And Ricky Banderas at that moment had a character called El Messias, right? Like he was kind of like a dark character. And bro, like the ring on water, they were fighting, they were going at it. Like it wasn't like flippy stuff or nothing, but it was really emotional. Watch them wrestle on the ring at some point. Ricky Banderas go on top and he'll do this and perform a lightning strike, like kind of the Undertaker will you see, but it was a lightning strike. I was like, damn, I want to do this. So I told my father, of course, fighting. I used to do Taekwondo, right? Then transition to college. They didn't give me like they didn't pay college for Taekwondo, so I transitioned to be a cheerleader. And I did cheerleader 3 years in college and competing All Star too Orlando, Florida. And my last 2 years, I decided to do amateur wrestling and judo because they still pay my college for that. So I need get that money. And one of my best friends, who it wasn't for him, Zarek Camacho wouldn't start doing wrestling. Jazz Franco is a current wrestler in IWA. He told me, "Hey, I found a school in like 40 minutes from your town. You want to go?" Yeah, I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I started training in Puerto Rico first on Aguas Buenas, and the trainer was like, because they're doing the basic, right, bombs and everything. But my wrestling background in judo is pretty much covered part of it. So he looked at me and said, like, "Are you making me look like a fool? You have done this before, right?" I'm like, "No, sir. It's just, it's just I got a base build for it." And from there on, I started practicing wrestling on 2013. Um, Going back to it, I got injured on my knee. My ACL broke, and I had to stop for a moment for a year. And then again, Jack saving my life. He told me, "Hey, I got another company because the company I used to train closed." And I'm like, "Damn, I cannot do nothing." And then we found a company. I started wrestling on 2015 until June that I had to move here because honestly, economy was bad and everything. And my wife got a work opportunity, so we jumped for it. And it was kind of a bummer because I was on a good road wrestling every weekend in Puerto Rico. My character was more of a Kurt Angle influence in RBD. I used to do a lot of superplex. I used to move fast, flippy. And that the transition, I think I just moved with $500 from my pocket. It was hard moving to Texas and starting, and it took me honestly 2 years like to establish because I could have done wrestling cool, but I don't have a stable work yet. I don't have a house. I don't have a car yet. So all like building that to make time for wrestling took me 2 years. And Angel hit me up, hey, Lugatti, DFWO Pro Academy. And honestly was on that too because honestly was one of the person who received me when I got there. He helped me a lot. And Angel hit him like, you wanna train? I'm like, yeah. So December 9, 2017, Zarek Camacho walked into DFWO Pro Wrestling. And in a way, it was hard because I already know my base, right? So I want to just go at it, but I have to on train what I already learned in Puerto Rico and train again, like learning everything from zero, from scratch. I think 2 years was like, you know, it messed up my form and everything. Also, I want to learn to wrestle in America, basically. So it was a little hard sometimes because I got to train some stuff to learn. Example, in Puerto Rico we wrestle left or right side, right? Like Mexico is right side every time. So I can wrestle both, but I was doing some stuff right side, and everybody nope, keep the left side. It was hard.
When you were in Puerto Rico, those fans are notorious. You talked about the World Wrestling Council, Cologne, some of the history those guys have going back into the territories of the 70s or 80s. What was the independent scene like for you working there in your career when you broke into it? Were those fans as ravenous for you as they were historically known in the past?
So when I was working, it was a Borinquen sport promotion. Uh, Working was it's way different from Texas. I would say that.
Yeah.
If you see Backlash, I think Backlash is the best example of how the crowd is investing in wrestling, right? It's in a way I can you can compare it to when you do lucha shows, but still different. It's our own culture of wrestling, and we like blood, so I think Puerto Rico is notorious because of that. We might not be have the best hardcore wrestler, but every match, Abdullah the Butcher, Carlos Colon, Sabio Vega, Dutch Mantel, Bruiser Brody, all those wrestlers that were on the island make a reputation, and you gotta live to it. You gotta catch up to them. But it's a different. It's a more slower work. Getting your character over and getting people to hate you or love you, bro.
Uh, in Puerto Rico, you were just talking about getting them to love you or getting them to hate you. In the American territories, they've always said a lot of times it's easier to get them to hate you or it's easier to get them to love you than or easier to hate you than it is to love you. Sorry, I got it straight
Yeah.
in my head. In Puerto Rico, is it easier to get them to hate you than it is to love you?
I mean, I would say yes, but you gotta make sure you maintain a connection with the crowd all the time, right?
Yeah.
Comparing Puerto Rico with here people will follow you or react to what you're doing. But in Puerto Rico, you can do whatever you want. But if the crowd is not connected to you, you're not engaging with the crowd constantly. They will like don't care. Like you gotta maintain that. Like I always get somebody and bro, I start targeting that person, and that person bring everybody else. So yeah, it's kind of similar.
in wrestling, also stylistically, you kind of touched on it a little bit. I'm curious. Japan has that strong style, the British strong style. You mentioned Mexico and lucha libre. Do you feel like Puerto Rico has its own kind of wrestling identity with the way guys work there versus maybe some of the other styles?
I would say we can work any style we want because right now I've been seeing some new school and they work a lot of the indie style. It's getting now over on the island. But the most thing Puerto Rico work is angles. Like if you want to learn to work angles, Puerto Rico's your best spot. That was sometimes the matches are slower and the crowd is more engaging the crowd what you're doing than doing the moves, right? So it's I would say in a way that their own style, our own culture.
All right, so let's move over now. Now you're in Texas All Star Wrestling. You're having a chance to work with some of those guys. Nate Slater, Nate Bradley, both already been on the show. We've talked with them a little bit. From your perspective, coming from Puerto Rico, and they say everything is bigger in Texas. My dogs are going crazy downstairs. I
Mine
apologize for
too.
that.
Don't worry. I got three. I live in the other room. Incredible. They're quiet. I got three weenie dogs. So, bro.
I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh man. All right, let me getting into Texas All Star Wrestling, having a chance to work with all of those guys. When you got to Texas, they say everything's bigger in Texas. Was the crowd? Was there kind of a culture shock for you getting into Texas, working with those crowds? Are they, was there a big difference from what you were expecting or what you were working with in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I would say it's different. In it was like I said, it's bigger crowds. Where because I work on the indie shows, where they weren't big as us here, and like the indie culture too. Like you gotta keep moving. Puerto Rico is just an island, and unfortunately, most shows run the same day, right?
Yeah.
That's something I don't like personally. I always try to go if I'm booked Saturday, I try to go days before, so I can train in different schools and learn their style and everything, do my networking. But on Texas, it's a bit different. I will say you can engage with the crowd. I keep that Puerto Rican culture to me. If you, I was engaging with the crowd. I think that's stand people's different and have helped me a lot. And but also I'll do my moves and I get a little bit of everything.
I was doing my due diligence. I was going through, looking at some of your matches, looking at places you've worked. I saw recently you brought Lou Gotti up as being one of your trainers. You recently had a chance to work a match with him.
Yeah.
What was the difference? When you first got there, started working with him, you had already trained some, you had already, been in the business. You get there, you start working with Lou, and now you have a chance to work with him again later. What was that like?
It was great, bro. I was really it was a really exciting match because I never faced Lou. We always worked together. We were on the DFW cartel and everything, and we never got a chance to wrestle. This is my first time that I wrestled with him. So far, it's been the only one. I hope we get some more. But it was tough because he's really indie wrestling. That's like on BIP, right? And it was fun. I would say I had a lot of fun. And bro, he pushed the best of you. Like if you see Lou Gotti versus Ned Bradley, Lou is really great wrestler, a great trainer, a great promoter. Uh, and bro, I wanna go again. Honestly,
One of those you could always just run back with the opportunity.
what happened there? There you go.
Oh,
I'm
there.
back.
No, you're good. Um,
Yeah.
Another match I was looking seemed like a really cool concept. You were in the Sterling Silver Memorial Tournament, and it was four fatal four ways to open the tournament. And it was you. You had Fuego, and you also had Tyler Rook in your opening fatal four way. Going into a match, not only just a tournament format, but having a chance to work with somebody like Fuego. How was that opportunity?
Again, fun as hell because it's so Rook Tyre and Max Beckett and Folk are four different styles. And I'm somebody that I would say I don't have a style per se. My style is adapting to everybody else and adapting to that high speed and lucha style fuego. Going to Rook Tire with the high flying. Max Beck is really technical. I had really fun and I learned a lot from Fuego. Like that beginning of the match, I had fun with everybody locked up. And it was a father four we locked up. And from there we went. It was really fun to put together and had that match.
All right. This is one of my favorite questions to ask anybody. And it's important for everybody for a different reason. So if we hopped in a time machine, we go back to day one, before you walked in the first day of training or before your first match or anything like that. You have a chance to go back and talk to rookie Zarek. What what uh what advice do you give that person?
Oof. Let me see. Rookie Zarek. I will get a lot of advice, starting with enjoy sleeping now. uh, I will say, and first of all, enjoy sleeping. Uh, get ready because you're gonna enjoy everything, right? Some people are not gonna support you. I think that was my very shock, right? Like my parents support me when I did taekwondo, when I did cheerleading, and it was kind of a bummer. And at some point, I feel like I doubted myself, like I cannot do this, especially when I had my accident with the leg. Like, but at the end of the day, I'm always being somebody that push the button, right? My trainer, one of my cheerleading trainers say, you are while you are on the mat, that's what you are as a person, right? If you work hard every time, that's the kind of person I am. And if you see me, everything I do, that's the kind of person I am, right? I'm never gonna go giving 70%, always 100. I will say keep your ethic, right? Not that it's hard, but try not to doubt yourself. A lot of people are gonna try to touch you out. Don't listen. Don't let all influence. And most important of all, keep having fun because this is why you do it, right?
All right, Zarek, hard part's out of the way. But before we close, I always end everything with 5 random questions. I
All
got
right.
yours queued up, ready to go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question number one. What's your favorite movie?
Firmly, the Gremlins, the new batch.
Okay. You're leaving a show late night. What's your favorite fast food stop?
Oh, Jack in the Box.
Love Jack
It's,
in the Box.
it's being hard because I'm on diet, but bro.
All right. This is an either or question.
Mhm.
Would you rather never be hungry again or never be thirsty again?
Never be hungry.
I
Never be
like
hungry.
food. I don't think I could
Yeah,
ever give up food.
me neither,
Um,
bro. It's food is
do
great.
you have a favorite album from your favorite musical artist or one you're
Favorite.
listening
Oh,
to right now?
right now, honestly, it's weird, but I hear a lot of '80s music like Queen. But damn, album right now. Lately, I've been listening to Linkin Park, the Meteor album. I was listening to it on my way to work.
And last question. Do you think pineapple belongs on pizza?
Yes, sir.
You think
I'm
so?
from the Caribbean, so yes, it's it's
Pineapple
a
on
must go.
everything, then, right?
I mean, pineapple goes on everything.
All right, Zarek. That's the easy part. I'm going to shut up now, let you plug everything, tell everybody any matches you've got coming up, any social medias you want to put over, anything like that. This is your chance.
All right, yo, Zarek Camacho. You can follow me on Instagram at C_Camacho_787. Twitter arroba C Camacho number 8. Matches tomorrow. Actually, I will be on the Sadie Hopkins tournament, the intergender tournament. I will have a match versus John Doe. We got his group, the Dead Body Rejects. We have a beef right there, so I'm gonna put that to an end. And this Saturday, I will be on Mississippi for AWA. Me and Onyx are taking on the tag champions, Vladimir and Chris. So we bring you go home.
Excellent, Zarek. Look, I really appreciate you stopping by tonight and chatting about some wrestling with me.
No problem, sir. Thank you for the opportunity again.
Absolutely. For Zarek Camacho, I am the Will Gray. Thanks for
Oh,
stopping by and listening, my people.